Well, happy Good Friday, everybody. Um, I've been thinking a lot about my high school days. Uh, back, back in the day, I was in a folk duo with a man named Dan Pict, who last I heard he was in Branson, Missouri. So if you're out there, Dan, howdy. We played in a folk duo called Mona Junction back in high school, 1976, 77, 78. Lied about our ages so we could play in the bars and whatnot. Maybe a little too much emphasis on the whatnot, but that's beside the point. One of the singer songwriters that Dan and I really enjoyed and covered a few of his songs. His name was John Prine. He wrote a song called "Hello in There" that you might be familiar with. Bette Midler had a popular arrangement of that song. It's about an old couple told from a first-person narrative about a man and his wife named Loretta. And in one of the verses, he sings about how they lost their son Davy to the Korean War. Well, today I heard on the radio that we lost Johnny to the Corona War this week. John Prine died of complications from the coronavirus this week. And John, wherever you are, I hope you rest in peace. You left behind a lot of good music, and we're grateful to you. So, this whole disruption of the coronavirus has me thinking a lot about life and death and what happens after we die, and how many people I interact with that I sincerely hope I can interact with on the other side of eternity. And I grew up in the United Methodist Church, but it really wasn't until college that I found my own. I found a faith of my own that I could really call my Christian faith my own. And it's hard to rationalize, hard to understand why such things like this coronavirus could be allowed by a loving God. And here's the conclusion I have come to after not just studying the Bible. I studied all kinds of faiths and religions when I was in college, and ultimately turned to the God of the Bible, of the Old and New Testaments. And I don't believe he created us to live in a world like this. He created us to live in harmony with him, to live in a world where there is no pain, there is no evil, there is no sickness. And he created humanity to share in this great love that he had, this incredible love that he had. And he knew that if he was really going to share that love, if he was going to create beings who could understand and comprehend that love, he had to give them choice. He had to give them the choice of whether to turn toward that love or turn away from that love. And the story of the Garden of Eden is how we, humanity, chose to turn away from that love. And now we suffer the consequences of that. But because God's love is so immense and so huge, he entered humanity through the man, Jesus Christ, who lived a life without sin and then gave up his life, shed his blood for us, so that our shortfall could be covered, so that our disobedience, our turning away from God's love could be forgiven, and we could be welcomed into eternity, and that irrational, incomprehensible, unfathomable love that waits for us. So I've been thinking a lot about that lately, and how I want to bring as many of my family and friends with me as I can. So I hope you will, on this Easter weekend, this special holiday weekend, where we celebrate the death and the resurrection of the only begotten Son of God, I hope you'll consider it. You'll look into it. You'll, in all the craziness that surrounds us today, that you'll give that your consideration. So, one of the songs that John Prine wrote is called Blow Up Your TV. And when I was in high school, I came up with what at the time I thought was a really clever arrangement of it. And I haven't thought about it in decades. But when I heard the news about John Prine, it kind of came back to the surface, and I decided I would dust it off and play it for you today. So I hope you enjoy it. She was a level-headed dancer on the road to alcohol. I was just a soldier on my way to Montreal. She pressed her chest against me about the time a jukebox broke. Give me a peck on the back of the neck. These are the words she spoke. Said, blow up your TV, throw away the papers, move to the country, build you a home, plant a little garden, eat a lot of peaches, try and find Jesus on your own. Well, I was sat there at the table, and I acted real naive, 'cause I knew that topless lady had to have something up her sleeve. She danced around the room a while, and she did the hoochie cooch. And all night long she sang this song, just telling me what to do. She said, blow up your TV, throw away your papers, and that bong too while you're at it. Move to the country, build you a home, eat a lot of peaches, plant a little garden, try and find Jesus on your own. Well, I was cold and I was hungry. I was about to leave that place. And just as I was leaving, she looked me right in the face. She said, you must know the answer. I said, no, but I'll give it a try. And to this day we've been living our way. And here's the reason why. We blew up our TV, threw away our papers, moved to the country, built us a home, had a couple children, fed them organic peaches. There we all found Jesus, a faith in Jesus of our own. Happy Easter, everybody.